Aiko, and today I'm going to talk to you about Florence and graffiti. How many of you have ever heard of Leonardo da Vinci or Michelangelo? Okay, so how many of you can tell me the significance behind any one of their pieces? Knowing art history is very important to some, but the real importance is knowing the artist's ultimate goal, which is for us to relate and understand their message. Florence is a city built on the Renaissance movement and still continues to intrigue its tourists and citizens not only by the contents of its museums, but also the beauty in its streets. In the spring of 2012, I was thrown into a whirlwind of art and passion when I lived in this beautiful city. However, being a communications and technology major, museums didn't seem too interesting to me. But after I explored the city week after week, I actually found myself taking more pictures of graffiti than buildings themselves. Today I'm going to talk to you about the beauty and meaning behind Florentine artists, street artists, and how and why their pieces and purpose is not just about illicitly tagging buildings or signage. Without wasting any time, I'd like to start by defining graffiti. Graffiti is defined as illicitly marking, drawing, spraying, or writing public or private entities. Today, graffiti is generally associated with people who are criminals, drug users, or juvenile delinquents. However, many people are often blinded by this negative stigma. But many of these anonymous taggers are just like artists, just trying to make a statement or convey their point. Nonetheless, to every graffiti artist, no matter how the statement is made, it doesn't matter. After all, isn't art about breaking all the rules? Artists use outlets to convey a social, political, or emotional message, a public speech per se, a song, dance, a work of art, or tagging street signs. All of these outlets are used to reach the masses to convey the artist's message. The graffiti artist's depth of their message depends on the viewer. It could be aesthetically pleasing to some, it can be relatable to others, or it could not relate to anybody at all. Importance doesn't matter with the law. Graffiti is illegal and it is punishable. The second point I want to share with you all today is one of the first things I noticed about living in Florence. The graffiti tags on Codice della Strada. The Codice della Strada are our street signs today. Do not enter signs, one-way signs, train signs, etc. These are done by the Frenchman named Colette Abraham. As you can see, his works of art. He uses guerrilla tagging tactics in the night to place his little silhouetted man, right there, really clear, and other objects such as, this is a one-way street sign, a little angel, and I'm not sure what sign it is, but as you can see, he uses many similar themes, designs, and figures for his signs. However, different signs change, or the man changes with different signs. In the British news source Mail Online, Tara Brady writes about Colette Abraham's mission. He describes it as a comment about how people are restricted by rules, and that he hopes that people will think twice next time they are asked to follow an instruction. You can definitely think of the term questioning authority as he asks, why should we be restricted to society's rules and regulations? Colette describes his purpose in his tags, to deepen the original significance of the utility, but also to give some intellectual, spiritual, or simply amusing interest. However, his ultimate objective is to keep traffic flowing without us feeling spoken down to. Colette is a classically trained artist, but however, he's not immune to the law. Recently, he was fined over 400 euros for his tagging on the street signs, even despite Florence's rich history of adorning the city in art. In the Tuscan Arts article, Colette is interviewed and asked how his work is different than graffiti. He states there is no fundamental difference. However, his only redeeming quality is that he uses removable adhesive on all of his street signs. What sets Colette apart from other graffiti artists yet unifies them at the same time is a healthy attitude for liberty of expression and breaking the rules. These are the bases of being noticed. The final point I'd like to talk about is a legal form of street art in Florence, the Modernari. The Modernari tradition, its roots stemmed from one of the forefathers of the Renaissance movement, Giotto di Bondone. which is about the 1200s. And the news site Lorenzo de' Medici describes the Madonnari as a group of street artists who decorate the pavement with sacred and non-sacred images. The Madonnari are seen not as graffiti artists, but more so as street performers. A Madonnari living in Florence, Kelly Borsham, is interviewed by the Italian site Tuscany Arts and states they work to please the public, and the public provides them the tips. The Madonnari tradition is not considered graffiti in the fact that its artists actually pay for a license. As stated in the Tuscany Arts article, they are actually considered to be a historical practice that originated in central Italy, recorded from the 16th century and onward, and requires extensive artistic training. These artists do not use any type of harmful or permanent materials. They actually use crude materials such as chalk or charcoal, and they're given 24 hours throughout the day to create their work of art, and at the end of the day, it's washed away by a street sweeper. This seems almost wasteful and unappreciative of the Madonnari tradition, but as stated in the Tuscany Arts article, on the other hand, it nicely links street painting to other historic forms of decoration that used to grace the city of Florence, but now are almost entirely lost. In conclusion, just like painters oil paint, street artists have their own mediums to portray their beliefs and messages. Colette Abrams' Silhouetted Man on public street signs put a completely original spin on the age-old term of sticking it to the man, but can also be very tongue-in-cheek to some. The Madonnari's use of chalk and charcoal to create a magnificent work of art in 24 hours is an astonishing feat, just for it to be washed away every day. However, meaningful art, or just the beauty of a piece, does not necessarily have to be housed in museum walls. Beauty in art is all around us, but it is up to the viewer to create an impact. Now ask yourself this class, which is more impressive on a first date? Knowing a famous name, or being able to speak about the depth and message behind graffiti in a city built on art, philosophy, and passion?